What's going on, Jets fans? Got a report here for you on a Victory Monday. If you appreciate that, a thumbs up is an easy way to show it. This per Mike Lombardo, NFL source on Twitter. Jets cornerback Bryce Hall will be made available at the trade deadline per source. So this isn't him prognosticating. This is him saying, look, the Jets, someone in that building is saying, we're going to shop him so they can drive up the market, get the most amount of phone calls for Bryce Hall, unless Mike Lombardo is completely making this up, which I doubt. And I also doubt it because it makes sense, right? I'm never a fan of parting ways with depth just to do it, just to get draft picks. But at some point, if you're nearing the middle of your season and you're not even dressing a guy, I think you'd have to consider it. I think there are some teams where Bryce Hall would definitely be active every single day. Some teams that may be injury plagued where he's their corner two. Last year, he was the corner one for the New York Jets. That's a team that could use him, the 2021 New York Jets. There's some bad defenses around the league where Bryce Hall is a starter. Last year, played 17 games, and I thought he had potential to develop into a cornerback number two. Okay, this isn't a Bless Austin thing where the guy completely can't play and the fans just made it up. Maybe we were a little higher on him than he is, but he was top 10 in the NFL in passes defended. He was second in the NFL in completions forced. He's always a willing tackler. Problem is, the ball skills were never really there. Tracking the ball in the air and intercepting the ball, something he never really has quite figured out how to do yet. Still a very young player. I think the biggest surprise of Bryce Hall has been Brandon Echols leapfrogging him on the depth chart. And that might be more of a pro Brandon Echols thing than an anti-Bryce Hall thing. Because Brandon Echols, the few times he's been asked to play this year, he's been ready. They threw him in there against Cleveland in the red zone, holds up. 2 times in a row, they go right after him. 2 passes defended. 1 on a wide receiver, 1 on a tight end. Then, in Green Bay, Sauce, concussion protocol, he goes out. Where's Aaron Rodgers looking? Deep down the field, Echols with another pass defended. May have gotten away with a little jersey tug there, but hey, well played ball by Brandon Echols. So good for Brandon Echols. Excellent draft pick there as well. Now, Bryce Hall was a 5th-round pick, and here's the thing. What do you trade him for? Do you give him away for what, a 6th-round pick? Most 6th-round picks aren't as good of a football player as Bryce Hall. If you look at his draft class, Bryce Hall is arguably the best 5th-round pick of his draft class. A 5th-round pick, more likely than not by year 3, isn't even in the league. So I don't know what his market's going to be. Generally, it's less than you think. NFL GMs, they hoard, they love, they covet them draft picks. They say, I don't want the bum you have. I'm going to keep my 4th-round pick, and I'm going to take a superstar. There's a lot of ego with NFL GMs in that way. So I think, honestly, if they're going to shop him, maybe they get their 5th-round pick back, and then they can address an area of more pressing need and reset the rookie contract clock there. If they're looking to trade him for a position, I don't know. You might say offensive tackle, but there's a premium on offensive tackles. You're not going to get a quality backup offensive tackle for Bryce Hall, in my opinion. I don't think so. Be interesting to see how this shakes out. And then another name to come up, similar situation, Denzel Mims. Very, very similar. A guy who I think definitely on some teams could probably have a role, some sort of a role on Sundays, but isn't dressing. I'd probably be less willing to trade Mims than Hall because really Mims, he's not dressing, but if there is an injury to one of the top 4 guys, Mims goes from wide receiver 6 right to 4, in my opinion. He skips a spot because Jeff Smith is really a special teamer. So if there's an injury to one of our top 4 receivers and you activate Denzel Mims, I got to believe you're putting Mims out there as a wide receiver before Jeff Smith. At least I hope they would. Because to me, Mims is definitely a more talented receiver than Jeff Smith. And Smith is there to play special teams, which is fine. So there it is. Bryce Hall could be on the move. Probably just going to try and get our 5th-round pick back if we do move him. But I'd be fine with keeping both him and Mims as depth. And we'll talk ball soon.